Hello everyone, it's Jeff here, back with another Spin Zone video for you. I've been a busy boy this week. I've got a bunch of records that I was able to listen to. I was able to get some free time at home. No kids for a couple days, so that's always good. And some quality time with the wife, that's even better. And was able to play some good music, so I'm just going to get right to it. Freedom by Neil Young is the next album in line in my Neil Young listening project. Like I said last time, I skipped the 80s when it came to Neil Young, except for this one. This one came out in 1989. And I originally had this on cassette back when it first was released. And I reacquired it on vinyl with some difficulty, but I was able to do it, so I was pretty happy about that. Here's the back cover. This is a great album. One of his biggest hits, I guess you could say, is Rockin' in the Free World. That's on this album, and just the same way as he did on the Rust Never Sleeps album, the first track is an acoustic version. And he closes the album with the electric version that we all know and love of Rockin' in the Free World. So, but besides that song, I mean, there's other great stuff on here too. Crime in the City, 60 to 0, Part 1 is very, very good. Hanging on a Limb, El Dorado. He covers On Broadway, which is okay. But one of the songs that I heard on the radio a lot back when this was a new album was a song called No More. And it's kind of an odd choice as a single release or even as a radio song, because it's all about drug addiction, and it's kind of a depressing, harrowing song. It's good. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's got a great riff, and Neil really cuts loose at the end on his electric guitar, but yeah, it's kind of strange because you don't really, you know, when you listen to the radio, you want to feel good and you want to feel up, and this kind of is a bit of a downer, but it's still a great song, and this is still a great album. I'd probably place this more towards the upper middle of the pack, I guess, among Neil albums. It's not a front-to-back classic, but there's more good songs than bad on here, so still a great listen, and I'm very glad to have this in my collection. Freedom by Neil Young. Next, we've got ZZ Top with Tres Hombres. Waiting for the Bus and Jesus Just Left Chicago lead off this album. Probably one of the greatest lead-off sets of all time, and LaGrange is on this one also. Just show you the gatefold cover. Makes you feel hungry, doesn't it? But yeah, I love ZZ Top. I mean, when you, as far as, you know, blues rock, great guitar, they're just a great band. So I need to get more of these guys in my collection. I only have this album, and I have DeGuello, and I need more ZZ Top in my collection, so very glad to get this one also. Then I got the double live album from Reo Speedwagon, You Get What You Play For. This was one of the albums that was a casualty from the cellar from my rant video. This was one of the ones that I tried to clean with wood glue, and it didn't work. I'm basically swearing off wood glue for record cleaning purposes. So I went out and I tracked down another copy, which is in much nicer shape, and it was pretty cheap. So I went out and grabbed this album again. Listen to it. It's great. I mean, I know Reo Speedwagon gets... like Chicago, they get knocked a lot because, you know, they became a ballad band later in the 80s and had a lot of hits that way. But, you know, early on in their career, Reo Speedwagon was just a rocking band. Just great, straight ahead, energetic, great guitar, rock and roll. So here's the back. And this was a double live album. It's full of energy. There's the gatefold. And yeah, this would be great for just about any kind of party, I would think, or any kind of outdoor summer type situation. Riding the Storm Out is on this one. I think that one was a radio hit, and Keep Pushing. But yeah, this is just a great album. Among the double live, in the double live album genre, this one stands tall. So you get what you play for by Reo. Great, great album. Then my friend Gary, who gave me some records a while ago, gave me this one by the James Gang, and I'd never heard of it, and he told me, you know, just trust me, you'll love it, just take it. So I said, okay. And played it the other day, and he's right, I do love it. This is a great album. You know, the back cover's got some water damage to it, but the record's in mint condition. And I'll just show you, it's on the Atco label. And this album came out in '75. Joe Walsh was long gone from the band, but that doesn't stop it from being a great album. This is a pretty, this reminds me a lot of like early Grand Funk. It has almost some boogie elements to it, you know, besides just being slabs of guitar-driven sludgy rock, you know, that from like early '70s bands had. This is more of a nimble album. It's got, you know, more rhythm melody to it. Great guitar, great played loud. Newborn by the James Gang. This was a sleeper, but if you ever come across it or ever see it anywhere, give it a chance. You know, give it a listen, and I think you'd be surprised. This was a pleasant surprise. So very glad to have this one. And then another album from the Jerky Seller in my rant video that I always seem to be referring to lately is Kota by Led Zeppelin. This album was in the stacks that I was looking through, and I saw it, and of course I don't have every Led Zeppelin album on vinyl, but I'll just show you the back cover here as I'm talking. I don't have them all. I'm missing a couple, but like I said, for the price, it worked out to be like $1, I think, a piece for the albums by the time I was all said and done with that guy. Here's the inner gatefold. And it worked out to be like about $1, maybe $1.25 a piece. Original pressing, it's on the Swan Song label. You know, one of the coolest looking record labels, I think. And plays great. But, you know, it's Kota. I don't think this is anybody's favorite Led Zeppelin album. I mean, you know, it's got a really nice live version of I Can't Quit You Baby on here, which is good. I mean, some of the tracks on here are good. Bonzo's Montreux is just a John Bonham playing drums, basically. But you know, overall, it's nothing like the old days, you know, for Led Zeppelin. You know, there's a reason why these tracks didn't make it onto their respective albums. So it's kind of a this album's kind of like a deck clearing for any unreleased material at the time. So, you know, I'm glad to have it as a completist, I guess. I can't see myself spinning this very often, but still glad to have it. You know, it's still Led Zeppelin. It's still in nice shape. It plays great, so, you know, it's all good. And then this morning, as I was cleaning some records, I was listening and cleaning at the same time. I put on I by Robyn Hitchcock. This is a solo acoustic album Well, he plays acoustic and electric guitar, but it's just him. There's no band. And this was the reissue on Twin Tone Records. It was just released recently, as you can see. And this was one of the records I got in Minnesota. And it's Robyn Hitchcock. I'm finally tracking these things down. I'm finally able to listen to them, and this is great. I mean, everything you love about Robyn Hitchcock, you know, the quirky songwriting, the strange melodies that just work with those quirky melodies. And it all just seems to flow together. So this was a great one. By Robyn Hitchcock. I. And finally, record from the record show I got a couple weeks ago, Marshall Crenshaw. Perfect power pop album from the early 80s. I love this album front to back. This kind of falls into that category like Get the Knack, where every track is up and punchy and energetic. And here's the back. This, I didn't even need to clean this record. When I got it, all I did was change out the inner sleeve. I got rid of the paper sleeve and put it in a MoFi bag. But this is a great, great album. I can easily see myself playing this over and over. In fact, I'm going to have to get some of these tracks and put them on my iPod so I can listen to this in the car. Like I said, Someday, Some Way was the hit single off of this album. It's the one that I recognized. But I also recognized the song called Mary Ann. I've heard that many times on the radio too. So Hannah recommended this. Great album, great pick. I was glad to come across it. I got it, you know, pretty cheap at the record show. So good deal for good music. How can you go wrong, really? Marshall Crenshaw, self-titled. Great stuff. That's it for this time. I'm going to keep this quick and short. I'll be back sometime next week, hopefully with more. The kids come home tonight, and I go to work on second shift starting tomorrow. It's going to be a busy weekend as usual. So I hope everybody's enjoying their summer. Geez, we're already at the end of July now. Wow. I'm approaching my 1-year anniversary in the VC. That happens sometime next month, so I'll be doing a special shout-out video to all my VC friends when that happens, and hope everybody's doing well. Peace, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.